It's now time for us to talk. And I mentioned earlier today, the 11th day of October is the International Day for the Girl Child. And some interesting things on our social media platforms, you see that according to the Ghana Statistical Service, 80,000 young girls between the ages of 15 and 17 are either living with are either married or living with a man. 15 and 17. That's crazy. This one we have Maud Ewoenam Fugar joining us. She is with the Girl Guide, and we're talking about this particular day and what it means. And more especially, it is a day that people, there have been conversations about, making sure that sanitary pad is free. Because now the way the dollar they rise and the way things are, it's getting expensive. More, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's your regalia. That's what you wear.
Yeah.
Okay. What are those?
What's about that?
These are badges.
Okay.
Yes. So with this badge, this is more like our enrollment badge. This is actually from an international event. Okay. Yes, and then we actually celebrated 100 years last year. So.
Oh. Okay, that's great. What's your position in the Girl Guide?
Okay, so I am the Rangers and Cadets leader, and a member as well of the association. Okay.
Okay, Cadets leader. Okay, that's interesting. Now, this day, I know that it will be a cliche to ask what this day means to us, because I know your answer is going to be like every day is a day that we need to talk about it. Yeah. But this year's theme and what we're trying to achieve as a country, also narrowing it to Ghana, and the conversation narrowed to especially sanitary pads. That should be the basic thing that a young girl should be able to afford. Yeah. That's been very difficult to do. Yeah,
very.
And I'm asking that, in your opinion, as we know that it's getting expensive, what are your calls, from the Girl Guide, your experiences with some of these young girls, and what you think that the government should be doing?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity once again, and good morning to our listeners. So on a daily basis, we are hearing about the increments of prices in sanitary pads and other goods, and we're also hearing about the luxury taxes on the sanitary products by government, which is a 20% tax. Actually, there are other taxes attached to it, and it's so alarming that when you get down to the typical villages, you can't have those young ladies afford. Even as at the time sanitary pads were 5 Ghana cedis, some of them have to go the extra mile talking to that man or that person in the society to plead or beg for that 5 cedis to purchase the pad. And now that a sanitary pad is worth over 12 Ghana cedis for one, and even depending on the brand, actually. So something like always is 12 cedis, 13, 14, and also depending on where you're buying it at. Yeah. The local ones or the other brands, we don't really consider, like the Yas, Proper, and other things are around 11 cedis, 10 cedis. And you keep asking why. Who can afford that? Yeah. Because even those of us that have that small money are complaining. So how about those girls in the community?
Last time I checked, I thought it was 5 cedis.
No, please, I'm sorry, that's over.
I need to.
4 years ago. And it's quite worrying. So as an association, somewhere in 2019 and 2020, we petitioned Parliament to scrap off those taxes. Just last week, or was it around 3rd October, we successfully sent a letter to the Minister of Finance, copying some relevant stakeholders, copying Parliament, the Speaker, all the women in the Parliament, and then the Poverty Reduction Committee as well, so that the 2023 budget that will be presented to us, they take off those taxes, because we are saying that people can't afford it. Some are engaging in transactional sex to be able to afford sanitary pads. People are dropping out of school. But if we are saying that the time is now and it's our right and our future, then how are we dropping out of school when we can't just afford a sanitary towel? So that is our call, that as an association, we are pleading on government to take off the taxes. If not, we just have to adopt other strategies. So
okay, before we talk about the other strategies, when you go to these communities, what are the things available for the girls to use? Because growing up, we used to hear those use leave, towel. Do they still use those things now?
Yes, in some typical settings, you get people using toilet rolls, rags, and old clothes that are available to them. Others just flow, nothing.
Natural.
So that is why they would choose to stay at home within that period until they're done before probably they go back to school.
And even using toilet roll has its own side effects.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow, this is crazy. Yeah, because to think about it, you don't have what to eat first.
Yes.
You've got to think about what to eat.
Yes.
You do not have that.
Yes.
It's a thing that you need to go look for money to get.
Going through the pain when your menstrual cycle is coming, the cramps, the back pain, the waist pains, eating the right food to make sure that the blood flows well. And with all these, you have to worry about sanitary part. You mentioned if this doesn't work, the focus on other things will be what?
Okay, so we have the reusable sanitary pads.
Okay.
These are pads that are made from fabrics and they are made to be eco-friendly to protect the environment. So we are talking about climate change. We are being affected by climate change. And then we know that sanitary pads are disposable. And people do not dispose them off properly. So they end up polluting our environment, some entering our water bodies, and then all other things. But with the reusable pad, you get to use it over and over again. So assuming you have about 4 of them and you use 4 in one menstruation, at least you can wash them. You do all the necessary sanitizing and all of that, and then you keep them for the next month. So you keep using them until probably they're wearing off, and then you make new ones. So these ones are made from fabrics, basically.
We can use that one, but you see, what do you really think is the problem? Why is government really not taking the taxes off? Because this conversation has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
In your normal understanding, what do you think is the problem? Why that government doesn't want to take tax off the sanitary pads?
I really do not know why. I feel they consider, it's actually that they consider sanitary pads as luxury goods.
Good. I
luxury goods, but I just don't know. How are sanitary pads luxury goods? We do not choose to menstruate. It's natural. So if you consider sanitary pads, things that would need, it's a need for girls. If you consider that as a luxury good, then you are doing us no favor.
Well,
so
I just
it's quite challenging.
It's a big challenge. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we'll add our voices to it, of course. We need the government to be, to take these things off, to make it free for our girls out there. Ewoenam Fugar is with the Ghana Girls Guide Association.